I mentioned this on Instagram recently that I had a friend tell me that he has had 5 kids in 1 year come to him with spinal fractures from one training center, training young athletes, and it kind of made me a little bit sick to think about that, because those kids and those parents were putting their trust in whoever was training them. And sometimes accidents happen, but that kind of stuff should not be happening. We should not be hurting kids. We should be developing athletes. These were all kids who were like middle school to young high school age. And to me, like, there's just no reason kids should be getting hurt doing training unless, like an accident happens, somebody rolls an ankle or pulls a muscle or something. But to have spinal fractures occurring, it's just not okay. So when you are working with young athletes, make sure that you are taking their long-term athletic development in mind, because a spinal fracture like a spondy, that can cause problems for kids for a long time and derail their athletic careers, because they may just think it's back pain, they may not get it looked at, it may not be dealt with properly, and for what? To add another 10 pounds onto somebody's squat so that they can, say that they squatted a certain amount of weight or deadlifted an amount of certain weight. We're way better off making slow progress with kids. That's what long-term athlete development is supposed to be about, and that should be our goal anytime that we're working with a young athlete. So whenever you have any kid under your watch, think of that kid as yours, or if it's not you, if you don't have your own kids, think about somebody that you're close to, a brother, a sister, a niece, a nephew, even a neighbor. And how would you feel if they were training with somebody that you found out was doing dangerous stuff? If it looks dangerous and somebody is getting hurt doing it, it's probably time to stop. So I just really want, I'm probably preaching to the choir, but we need to be spreading the word, and sometimes we have to speak up. I know that that sometimes we hear things going on, and we don't want to step on people's toes, but if it's a matter of safety, at a certain point, it's time to speak up, and professionals need to speak their minds and let people know that certain things are right and certain things are wrong, and we should be making sure that kids are slowly progressing. It's totally different to have an adult make that decision on their own, but kids oftentimes don't even know what kind of weights they're supposed to be lifting. So when you are doing strength development with younger athletes, and when I say younger athletes, I'm talking about anybody 18 and under, even people who are pretty proficient in lifting, they're still beginners. They don't know exactly what they're supposed to be doing. They trust you, and it's really important that you help them choose appropriate weights so that they can make long-term progress. I would way rather have a 15-year-old kid add small increments to the bar on a consistent basis over the course of 3 or 4 years than to load it up, get a ton of weight on there, and then the kid gets hurt or has bad technique or just isn't able to keep going because they tried to do too much too soon, and there's no room to make progress. But when I heard that kids are actually still getting hurt out there, sometimes I forget, because I think that that our training center and probably most of the people watching this are doing a great job with young athletes, but it's still happening out there. And if you have gotten a lot of kids hurt recently or in the past, it's time to look at yourself in the mirror and think, hey, you may be ruining kids' lives. And it doesn't have to be immediate damage. Like, it's not like they're going to get hurt right now. Sometimes kids, you set them up with small injuries, back problems that last a lifetime, and you got to make sure that you're training kids in an appropriate way for long-term results. So let's just keep that in mind, and we'll continue making progress with young kids.